or who we don't want. So here are 5 key points as to why the selection of... If you're enjoying these videos, be sure to take a moment to like and share it with everyone you know. Subscribe to the James Anthony Report today. It's free and only takes a second. Now back to the report.
Come on, man.
We've won almost every single poll in the last 3 months against crooked Joe Biden. Almost every poll. And she doesn't win those polls.
At the time of this recording, President Donald Trump is ahead of Nikki Haley in every single metric to become the GOP nominee in November. No surprise here. But the hurdles he's had to jump just to get this far have many questioning whether the far left in this country will peacefully and patriotically allow Trump to walk back into the White House.
We're going to walk down anyone you want, but I think right here we're going to walk down to the Capitol and we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women.
Assuming he wins, and assuming there's an election, a legacy that is befitting of a once-in-a-century type of candidate has Trump in a position for a do-over. A rare thing, not just in politics, but in life.
Another strain of this ideology challenges conservatism, not from the Democratic Party, but from within, for control of the Republican Party. It takes the form of what's known as populism.
Arguably, the single biggest mistake in Trump's first term was the selection of Mike Pence for vice president. Speculation abounds as to who Team Trump goes with this time.
We're trying to save our country, and that's a pretty good social life to have.
With some separation amongst voters for Kari Lake, South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem also seems to be a fan favorite.
South Dakota is the freest state in the nation.
But Trump, being the media mogul he is, seems to be letting this all play out publicly to see who the people want. Or who we don't want. So here are 5 key points as to why the selection of Robert Kennedy Jr. makes the most sense. First, RFK Jr. has the Kennedy last name. It might be difficult to overstate how much this meant to a previous generation, but take a look at the numbers. Kennedy is polling at nearly 20% as an independent. That's huge, and if Trump can convince Kennedy to come on board, he's sure to pick up at least a portion of Kennedy voters. The same can't be said for anyone else in this regard. Remember, when Vivek dropped out, he only had about 6%. Second, though many consider RFK Jr. to be anti-establishment, he's essentially a Democrat. Trump and Trump voters often compare him with Abraham Lincoln, and rightfully so. So take a look back at the strategy Lincoln employed when running for a second term. He chose Democrat Andrew Johnson as VP. The point here is that if, let's say, funding for a major project gets hung up in Congress, maybe RFK can persuade the other side of the aisle to come together for the betterment of the country. If they won't, that's good fodder to be used in separating the far left from establishment Democrats come midterms. Third, you know the Operation Warp Speed attacks are coming. We all know why, and right or wrong, Trump is going to be forced to answer these questions. So who better to deflect those questions than RFK? He's made a living suing the hell out of Big Pharma and literally wrote the book on it. Trump would be wise to point to his pick as VP to prove to everyone he's not making the same mistake twice. Fourth, RFK Jr. speaks the same language when it comes to 3-letter agency corruption. Vivek did a great job in laying out a detailed plan to dissolve these agencies.
It will no longer exist as an institution, but we will be able to move to the U.S. Marshals, to the DEA, to a series of enforcement agencies that have not been politicized in the same way as the FBI.
But it's personal for Kennedy. And it's personal for Trump.
And they're all, every one of these people. These are corrupt people. These are corrupt. And you know what? Forget about me. They indicted 18 fine people. 18 people like you. In some cases, elderly. They signed a slate, just like Thomas Jefferson did slates. They go slates, just like they did to me in 2016.
Given the opportunity, RFK should have no issue pointing out who and what needs to go. Lastly, RFK Jr. is an insurance policy of sorts. He's in the Goldilocks zone when it comes to sensible Kennedy-era politics that elitist Democrats are against. And he's sincere.
And they don't want us asking those questions. So they have a foolproof methodology, which is they keep us at each other's throats. They keep Republicans hating on Democrats, blacks hating on whites. And when the king and queen look out over the balustrades of their black castle and they see all their subjects fighting each other, they go back to the banquet hall and they pop champagne corks.
All in all, Kennedy is just right for the job. This is James Anthony reporting.
This is a day of affirmation, a celebration of liberty. We stand here in the name of freedom. We are committed to peaceful and nonviolent change. We must recognize the full human equality of all of our people, not just to those of a particular religion, not just to those of a particular race, not just to the wealthy, but to all of the people. We must do it for the single and fundamental reason that it is the right thing to do.
A new twist this morning for the country's most famous political dynasty.
RFK Jr. plans
Robert F. Kennedy Jr. defended the presidential race
October 9th in the state
That it's time to heal a divided nation and return the power to the people.
Robert Kennedy Jr.